Yo, it's your boy Jay Best, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, season 3, episode 3. On today's episode, I will be answering the question, should Tua retire? And then after that, I'll give y'all my week 2 picks. All right, so it's a pretty quick episode. I'm gonna have y'all in and out. But before I get into any of that, I want to thank God for waking me up this morning, allow me to talk about sports, which is something that I love to do. And without him, I would not be here right now. So let's go ahead and let's get straight to the point. All right. Should Tua retire? All right. For those of us that did not see Thursday night football or have not heard what happened, Tua did suffer his third concussion, and this will be his third concussion in 2 seasons and 2 games. Right. So he didn't suffer a concussion last year, but the year prior to that, he suffered those 2 big concussions. That was like it was like world news because of how bad they looked. And I'll talk about that in a second. But then last year, no concussions. Then this year, 2 games in, he has a concussion. So the topic has changed. Before he's suffered a concussion in the third quarter, late third quarter. Prior to that, the Miami Dolphins looked terrible, right? Featuring Tua. Tua looked bad as well. Okay, Tua threw 3 interceptions, only threw for 145 yards. Right, he had like an 18.3 QBR, 68 completion percentage. Let me make sure I got these numbers right. 18.3 QBR, 68 completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 145 yards, and 3 interceptions. Right, his offense looked horrible. Right, they ended up losing 31-10, and Miami, mind you, in the offseason when I did my NFL Vault series, I told y'all I don't believe in this team. I think this team is very overrated. I think this team is not going to make the playoffs. Last year, they beat 11 teams under 500. I thought this year they was going to be one of those teams under 500, right? They're not going to just keep beating up on bad teams. It's just not going to happen, all right? Because they won't have the luxury of playing that many bad teams. And I think this year they're going to be one of those bad teams. And week 1, they went against Jacksonville, and Jacksonville was up 17-7. They could have ran a touchdown in with Travis Etienne and went up 24-7. That probably would have been over with. But Travis Etienne fumbled on the 1 yard line. Miami comes back, squeaks by Jacksonville, which is not a good team in my opinion, with the win. And I was not impressed. Right after they won that game, I was like, "This is exactly what I want to see because it's not they can't sustain that." And then on Thursday, they got their teeth kicked in by Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. A divisional matchup, by the way, 31-10 in Miami. All right, so I was supposed to come out here and beat on my chest and talk about how I was right about this team. But the conversation has changed, and it's more of a serious conversation now when it comes to Tua and his health. All right. So, as I said earlier, his remember 2 years ago he suffered those 2 concussions, and it was like big in sports media because of how they looked, and not only because of how they looked, but of course because he had them back to back. One concussion, he was seen stumbling around the field, and they finally took him out, never put him back in, and then also the other concussion he had is against the Bengals. I believe it was also Thursday night football or Monday night, Thursday night, some primetime game. And he hit his head, and his hands was like stuck like this, right? And that those are 2 like visually bad concussions. Most of the time when people suffer concussions, they get hit, they're a little dazed, and they go off the field and they're done for the game. Or they get hit and they get knocked out for a little bit, then they get up and they done for the game. Or now in today's NFL, when they have so many cameras everywhere, right? They see a player take a hit or get hit, and it even looks bad, they will pull you off the field and check you, right? Just to kind of limit the amount of players that continue to play with concussions. So to see him go through that those 2 years ago, that was bad. It was so graphic. It wasn't just your average concussion. Then on Thursday night, he gets hit again, and his hands got stuck again. Like it's he suffered concussions to the ninth degree. Right now, I'm speaking from experience because I've had concussions before. I really had 3, 2 in middle school and 1 in high school. But the 2 in middle school was so close together they counted. The doctor said it was 1. And then in high school I got another one, and the doctor told me after the one I had in high school that you should consider quitting football if you get another one. Right? She said you can go back, but if you get another concussion, you should really stop playing football. but my concussions was not anywhere near Tua's. Like my hands was never stuck. I was never stumbling. It was nothing, right? It was me getting hit and then somebody noticing that. Like one time I couldn't really put my helmet, I couldn't unbuckle my helmet. That's when the trainer noticed that. And then the other one I got hit and I was down for a little bit. But it was never as dramatic. I won't say dramatic because Tua not being dramatic. It's just his body reacting to the concussion. It wasn't as graphic as my hands being stuck or me stumbling around the field like Tua. But the doctor told me that when you get one concussion, you're more prone to get another one. Like it's easier to get another one. And then when you get two, it's easier to get three. And then when you get three, it's easier to get four. So Tua, the rest, if he comes back and play, it's gonna be easy for him to get another one. And the proof is in the pudding because what happened on Thursday night, that wasn't a hard hit. That hit was not that hard, right? And he ended up suffering a concussion from it. So to me, he can't come back and play because that can happen again. And we're talking about this man's health. And I don't like Tua as a football player. I don't think he's that good as a football player. But me just going through what I went through, I don't want him to be messed up for the rest of his life. Like this is something that it might not affect him right now, but it's going to affect him in the future. I promise you that because his concussions have been bad, like really bad. Like I said, it's not just him getting hit and he out for a little bit or getting hit and he have to just come out the game. He's been paralyzed, like temporarily paralyzed, and he's been stumbling. Like it's bad. So if it was up to me, which my word don't mean nothing, he wouldn't play no more. Period. Like football is not forever. He gonna stop playing, let's just say around 35, 36, 37, 38, somewhere in that range. He has to live the rest of his life. And if he want to live a healthy life or live a average life or just live a normal life, he needs to stop playing football. Because eventually, like I said, the side effects from his concussions are going to show up, whether he wants them to or not, especially if he keeps playing and he suffers another one. And I can't imagine what it's going to be like for him because of how graphic the first three concussions have been. Because his body's been stuck, because he's been stumbling. I don't know what the effect going to be for him years from now. So if it was up to me, Tua should retire. Period. He got paid this past offseason, so luckily he's financially secured. And if he play it right, he ain't got to work another day in his life. But go talk on TV, go coach, do something, but don't play football no more. If it was up to me, right? But he might come back, and the problem is, I'm not just thinking about him. I'm thinking about his teammates, right, and his coach because moving forward, the Miami Dolphins will have a quarterback that's limited. Period. He's limited, right? He can't take hits like every other quarterback. He just can't. And that's a part of the reason why last year he was getting the ball out so fast, right? In the scheme, it was for him to get the ball out like that because they don't want him taking hits, right? Last year, he rarely ran the ball because they don't want him taking hits. This year, the game's going so bad, he decides to tuck it and run, and he wants to get those extra 2-3 yards, put his shoulder down, and that hit, which was a normal hit, a average hit, a hit you see every game, put him out. So that means that he can't take hits. He just can't. And if you can't take hits, then how can I trust that in the playoffs when we need that 1 or 2 yards and nothing's open that he can run and put his shoulder down? He can't do it because his health won't let him do it. His body won't let him do it. Right? His concussion history will not let him do it. So it's not just about him, it's about his team. Now he's playing on a team where the team can't trust him to get those yards because he can't. Because if he put his shoulder down and get hit the right way, it's over with. He's done, which is also going to hurt his health. So I think it's a lose-lose situation. I mean, yeah, you don't want to play football. Yes, you want to play football, right? But if you do play, not only is your health at risk, but your team's success is at risk because you can't do what every other quarterback can do. You're limited, right? And he's already limited because I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. So now we're taking him from being an average quarterback to way below average because he can't do the things that quarterbacks sometimes have to do, which is run and lower their shoulder. right? So I think that it's an unfortunate situation. Like I said, I was supposed to come out here happy and talking about how Miami don't look good, but it's serious now because Tua suffered that concussion. So if it was up to me, he should retire. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to this next topic, which is the last topic, my week 2 picks. All right. Last week, if y'all tailed any of my picks, which I hope y'all did, I actually went 10-6. All right. Went 10-6 last week. That's way above 500. And that's what I plan to do again this week and even better. All right. So in week 2, I did pick Buffalo to win that game because, like I said, y'all know how I feel about Miami, and Buffalo did do just that. All right. But let's move on to Sunday or tomorrow, y'all. So New Orleans at Dallas. To me, this gonna be a pretty good game. Whether y'all like it or not, this gonna be a good game. Let me change the screen real quick so y'all can see the schedule too. My bad. But yeah, this is gonna be a really good game. I don't think my Dallas gonna blow out New Orleans. So the spread is +6, I believe, for New Orleans. I would take that honestly because New Orleans have a chance to win this game. I'm actually, you know what, I'm gonna do it too. I'm changing my pick as we speak. I'm going with New Orleans. All right, I think New Orleans can get this win. I like what I saw last week from New Orleans offensively. Yes, they played Carolina, but if you watched the scheme, if you watched how they was able to run the ball, it looked way better than last year. And that's a part of bringing in Clint Kubiak as the offensive coordinator. Remember, Tyrell was up here for the NFL vote, and he said Clint Kubiak gonna be the best offensive coordinator this year. Week 1, he got an A+. All right, week 2, you're going against a Dallas Cowboys team that what's been the word on the street about Dallas? They can't stop the run. All right, you have Derek Carr who can deliver the ball. Last week, Dallas played Cleveland. Deshaun can't throw the ball. So let's just stack the box and let Deshaun be Deshaun. But this week, I don't think you can stack the box and let it happen because Derek Carr can put the ball in the air. We saw it last week. All right, so I think this will be a tough one for Dallas. But I'm going to go with New Orleans on the road. I would definitely take the spread if I was one of you gamblers out there. But I'm gonna go with New Orleans. All right. And New Orleans have a good defense as well. So I think Dak is going to struggle a little bit. They definitely can't run the ball. Hopefully they can bracket up CeeDee Lamb and make life hard for Dak. All right. Next, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions. I'm going with Tampa Bay. Detroit is one of the teams that I said they blew it last year. They had a golden opportunity and let it go. Sunday night, I picked them to lose to the Rams. The Rams lost their whole entire O-line and Puka Nacua, and that game still went to OT. So this team is not as strong as a lot of people believe they are. And I know it's week 1. I understand that. But Tampa Bay looked really good. And yes, they played the Commanders, but Baker looked good. Ever since Baker got to Tampa, he's looked okay. And I'm one of the ones that said I still don't trust them. But this early in the season, before Detroit becomes that juggernaut that everyone thinks, I think they're still building up back into that. I think that Tampa can go ahead and steal this one on the road. It should be a shootout because Tampa, they can't run the ball. They have to air it out, right? Because Detroit's run defense is really good and Tampa Bay's run offense is not that good. So Detroit's secondary is still suspect. We saw that last week. They let Cooper Kupp get 14 catches, carry the offense by himself. All right, and this is without Puka. All right, so I do think that Mike Evans and Chris Godwin can have a big day against this Detroit Lions secondary. I'm going with Tampa Bay for the upset. All right. Next, we got the Colts and the Packers. All right, I got the Colts taking this win. Jordan Love going down was huge because now Malik Willis is in. We all know Malik Willis is not that good. So I do think that the Colts, all you got to do is stack the box and stop Josh Jacobs. And I think they'll be able to win this game with ease because on the flip side of it, we saw what Saquon Barkley did to Green Bay last week. And now we're going to see Jonathan Taylor do the same thing again to Green Bay's run defense. I got the Colts winning this game. And they still have to fear Anthony Richardson's arm, which is going to give Jonathan Taylor more lanes to run the football. Next, I have the Jets and the Titans. I'm going with the Jets in this game. I think this is their bounce back week. On the last episode with Jared, I said that they have games to tune up and get right, and this is one of them get right games. You're going against Will Levis. Defensively, the Jets should not allow a point, theoretically, right? Maybe a field goal, maybe one touchdown, but that's it because this Titans offense has not looked that good, and Will Levis alone don't look that good. He looked bad against the Chicago defense. Now imagine him going against a Jets defense. All right, the Jets defense should terrorize him and make his day very, very hard. All right, and then offensively, keep feeding Brees Hall like you did last week. Yes, he wasn't able to get those lanes, so if you went against a really good 49ers defense, I don't believe in the Titans defense that much. I think Caleb Williams just looked bad last week. And I think that Aaron Rodgers can keep knocking the rust off, keep getting the ball to Garrett Wilson, build that chemistry. keep getting the ball to Alan Lazard, who you already have chemistry with. And let's see if Michael Williams can get on the field in this game. I got the Jets easily winning it. All right, the 49ers and the Vikings. All right, I got the 49ers. Last week they showed they could still run the ball without CMC. No CMC, no problem. The same thing should happen this week. All right, I think they should be able to beat the Minnesota Vikings, who without Jordan Addison, now all you have is Justin Jefferson. Garrett Wilson didn't look that great last week against the 49ers secondary. So I assume that Justin Jefferson won't look that great. Not diminishing Justin Jefferson. I know he's better than Garrett Wilson, but if I'm the 49ers, hey, if you can't throw to Justin Jefferson, who you going to throw the ball to? That should be my mindset going into the game. And then offensively, they can just run the ball. All right. So I got the 49ers winning that game. Next, we have the Seahawks and the Patriots. I'm going with the Patriots at home. All right. Look, Seattle last week offensively just didn't impress me at all. And I think that this is going to be an ugly, low-scoring game. And I think that the Patriots defense is going to be able to get a couple takeaways from Geno Smith and their offense. And I do think that it's like I said, it's going to be low scoring. I don't think the Patriots will just run the score up or nothing like that. But it's going to be an ugly game in New England. I got New England win this game. I think they're going to ride that victory from last week that nobody thought they would get, and they're going to take it over into this game and upset Seattle. All right. Next, we got the Giants and the Commanders. I have the Commanders win this game at home. The answer to why I'm picking the Commanders is Daniel Jones. That's my answer. There's nothing else I really need to say because Daniel Jones looks bad, guys. I don't know why he's a starting quarterback in the NFL, but if his fans think he sucks, imagine how the rest of us feel. All right, so I got the Commanders winning that game. All right, the Chargers and the Panthers. I got the Chargers. All right, Jim came out last week and did what we all thought he would do, and that is run the football with Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. Alvin Kamara had a pretty good week last week against the Carolina Panthers. I can only assume J.K. and Gus will have a good week against the Panthers this week. It's going to be an ugly game, I think, but I think the Chargers can go ahead and take this W. And the Panthers offensively, they just don't look good. I feel so bad for Bryce Young, but the Chargers should win this one with ease. All right. And next, we got the Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going with the Jags. All right. Deshaun Watson is cooked. He's done. Right. He's gone. The Deshaun of old is gone. So don't ask for him because he ain't coming back. All right. This over with for Cleveland. I think until they put Jameis Winston in or somebody else, I'm going to pick against them because if you can't put up points in this league, and you look that bad, like it's not just that you can't put up points, it's that you can't move the ball. You can't complete passes, right? Like this, it's just a bad offense. And even if Deshaun was average, he does not have enough weapons in that offense to be successful. Like I think this team was also overrated during the offseason. Nobody said it was going to win the Super Bowl, but some people said that they was going to be just a tough team and they was going to be one of them teams that might squeeze into the playoffs. No. Outside of Amari Cooper, what do they have? Jerry Jeudy is a nobody. All right, and they don't have Nick Chubb, so I got Jacksonville. I don't have no faith in them either. Right, they gave up the game last week against Miami, but I think they should really get the win this week against Cleveland. All right, we have the Raiders and the Ravens. Pretty easy pick. I'm going with the Ravens. All right, the Raiders look like I thought they would look. Remember, I said I wasn't sold on them, and they proved my point last week. All right, Gardner Minshew cannot put the team on his back, and this team does not have a run game, which means that Gardner Minshew cannot just play action his way down the field or run the ball down the field. He has to throw the ball, and I don't think he's a quarterback that's built for throwing the ball more than handing the ball off. So I think the Raiders team will have a long season, especially this week against the Baltimore Ravens. And the Ravens, hey, what better way to get this matchup after what happened week one, right? Week one, you feel like you was robbed. Well, take out your frustration on this Raiders team that doesn't have an offense, all right? Next, we got the Rams and the Cardinals. I got the Rams, all right? They should have won last week, but like, hey, kind of like the Ravens, right? Week one was spoiled by a close loss. Go ahead and take it out on Arizona, who to me defensively, what do they have? Can't name anybody on the defense. And then offensively, Kyler Murray and their offense looks fun. They like they can do a little something, but I think the Rams defense showed us that they can limit scoring from really good offenses after what they did in Detroit. So I think they can do that to Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. All right. Next, we got the Steelers and the Broncos. I got Pittsburgh. Look, Bo Nix, you struggle with the Seahawks defense. Imagine what's going to happen when you play the Steelers defense. And last week, a lot of people said Kirk Cousins can't move, and the Atlanta, maybe Kirk Cousins is washed. No, Kirk Cousins played a pretty good defense. Period. I don't know when we're gonna get our credit, but this defense is nice. This defense is elite. Led by TJ Watt, led by Cam Hayward, led by Alex Highsmith. The addition. Why did y'all trade Deontay Johnson? We traded Deontay Johnson for Dante Jackson, who came in and got the game sealing pick last week. His defense is nice. All right, so Bo Nix, all he's gonna do is struggle this game. I feel bad for him, but it is what it is. And I think that Kenneth Walker found success in the run game last week. Najee Harris should be able to find success in the run game this week. I got Pittsburgh winning this game. All right, next is the Bengals and the Chiefs. Look, I know y'all don't expect me to pick the Bengals after what happened last week. You lost to the Patriots. I'm not picking you till you win again. So I'm gonna pick against you until you win again. All right. And the Chiefs riding off that big win last week to open up the year. I feel like it's not gonna be a blowout. I just can't see it being a blowout, but I think it's gonna be a pretty easy win for the Kansas City Chiefs. All right. Next we got Chicago and the Houston Texans on Sunday Night Football. Caleb Williams versus CJ Stroud. I got CJ Stroud. Caleb, I just gotta see it first. All right, and also Keenan Allen and Roman Dunze, they on the injury report, so you might not have two of your star receivers. So I got to see it. I just got to but make me believe. I still believe, but make me believe more. Make me want to pick you to win games because you're going against the Houston Texans, who had a nice win against the Indianapolis Colts last week. So I got the Texans winning at home. And finally, CJ Stroud is on primetime television. All right. And to end this week, I got the Atlanta Falcons and the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going with the Eagles. All right. Atlanta last week, they ran into a good team in Pittsburgh. It is what it is. This week, you run into a team that can put up points, right? Last week, you went against Pittsburgh, who we're not going to let you score, and we're going to kind of score, right? We scored 6 field goals. But this Eagles team can put up points. You got to deal with Saquon. You got to deal with A.J. Brown. You got to deal with Devontae Smith. You got to deal with Dallas Goedert. You still got to deal with Jalen Hurts, right? But Jalen Hurts, I need to see a really good game. Last week, he threw 2 touchdowns, but you also threw 2 interceptions. Like it was, and those interceptions was bad. So I need you to give me a good game this week so that you can get out of the media. Because right now everybody's saying you're overrated and you ain't been the same since the MVP, since almost MVP year, right? Prove all the haters wrong, go out and ball out against the Atlanta defense that we couldn't exploit because we don't have it together right now, but y'all can, all right. But that's it for my week 2 picks. Like I said, last week I went 10-6. This week I'm already 1-0. So let's go ahead and let's beat what happened last week. But all right, that is it for the Straight to the Point podcast. All right. Y'all make sure y'all tell my week 2 picks so you can win a little bit of money. And then also make sure that you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Straight to the Point podcast, or on TikTok at Straight to the Point Pod. All right, it's your boy Jay Best. I'll see y'all next week.